Hey, what's going on? My name is Brian Bauer, and today we're going to do a little comparison between the Jackson Stealth EX, the Ibanez RG, and the Ibanez S series, because they're the most similar guitars in my collection, and I feel like these were all direct competitors to one another. So let's talk about it. If you're new around here, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and the notification bell and all that kind of fun stuff, because that really helps the channel out, you know? And I like when you watch my content, all right? So here I've got a 1994 Jackson Stealth EX, a 1998 Ibanez RG, and a slightly newer, I believe from 2004, Ibanez S470. So I'm not gonna be playing these today, obviously, because I'm standing here holding two of them and I'm not Michelangelo Badio, okay? So first off, let's talk about the Stealth versus the RG, okay? So right away, both have the 6-in-line headstock, locking nut. The Ibanez has a string tree, the Jackson does not. The angles of attack, the angle on the Jackson headstock is a little more aggressive, like on the tilt, compared to the Ibanez RG, maybe hence why it needs that string tree. Both of them just have stock tuners, they're non-locking. However, the Ibanez RG has 24 frets and this has 22. I always found the access in the Ibanez RG with 24 frets to be a little bit better. This one has an all-access neck joint. It's a little bit newer. It's from 1998. However, this one has 22 frets and this big blocky neck joint, the big square neck joint. I don't know why I can't say it. Access is a little better in this one. Overall, not a real big deal. Doesn't really bother me. Now, the Ibanez I have is not really stock and it's been fixed up quite a bit and modified. So we can't really compare the pickups. I will say I like the Jackson pickups, well, much more than I like the stock Ibanez pickups, because stock Ibanez pickups suck. But these Jackson pickups aren't too bad. Not the best. I think there should have been branded pickups in this guitar, but you know what? It's 1994. Those days are long gone. I gotta set them both. I gotta sit it down. It's just a little bit on the heavy side holding both of them. I would say they're about a similar weight. This guitar might be just a little bit lighter. One of the differences between the two guitars is while they both have licensed Floyd Roses, the Ibanez RG has the original Edge tremolo. Original Edge has a little bit better metals in it. However, between the two old guitars, I think this RG has been played a lot more. I need to sharpen the knife edges on it here soon, hence why I haven't been playing it a whole lot. That one is in pretty good shape, but I don't think it's been played near as much. Both of them have nickel frets, quite soft. These ones are pretty beat up. That one's in great condition. Output jack on the RG is on this side, but the RG body is much thicker. They both have a contour here, like a carving for your arm, like your forearm to rest on. Future me here, they both don't have that carve. The RG has that carve because it's a thicker body, so it's not as hard on your forearm. The Jackson Stealth is much more like the S series. I'll compare them later in the video. But that particular guitar, not quite as an aggressive one as this, but it's a much thinner guitar and you don't need it to be as aggressive. Overall, I think they're both pretty sweet guitars. This one has a humbucker in the neck, but they both have a single coil bridge or single coil middle pickup and whatnot. Both like, you know, one volume, one tone, 5-way switches, pretty similar. Some people like the Jackson feel a whole lot more. Some people like the Ibanez. I'm used to Ibanez. I could go back and forth between that and the Jackson, no problem. If I had to choose one, I would probably go with the Ibanez. That's a biased answer. I'm used to Ibanez. If you're used to the Jackson feel, Jackson makes incredible guitars too. So I can't say that one guitar is a lesser one than the other one. But in the overall, between the two of them, I'm a little biased because I really like this guy. I'm just used to the neck profile, a little bit better access. But overall, they're both pretty sweet. Now for a little bit more of a fair comparison, the S series versus the Stealth. I feel like these two are much similar, although this guitar is probably 10 years newer than this one. However, the S series has been around, I believe, since the 1980s. I talk about it in another video, I just can't remember. It's a few years old now. But so a little bit of a difference, but the bodies are very similar. Again, they're a little bit heavy, so I'm putting it down. They have very similar bodies. This has thin outer edges, but a very thick center, just like the Ibanez S series. However, this guitar has a basswood body, and that guitar has a mahogany body. I'm sure there's different versions of the S series that maybe have different woods or something, but that's a difference between the two of these. And I would say that the Ibanez is a little bit heavier. Both the Ibanez and the Jackson Stealth have 22 frets. That has an all-access neck joint. This has a square neck joint. I would say that the S series might have a little bit more room to work with up here, but it's not a huge difference between the two of them because they both have 22 frets. I could live with either the square neck joint or the all-access in this case. It wouldn't bother me either way. I believe a lot of the S series probably did have a square neck joint at one point in time. They both have a locking nut. One thing that I like about this Jackson a lot more than the Ibanez S series, or at least my particular S series, is that this one has a Floyd Rose. It has knife edges on these studs here. That has ball bearings. This just has a way better response to it. They both hold their tuning stability super well. As for the tuners, they still have the same kind of just regular stock tuners in the headstock, both 6 in line. Again, the Ibanez has a string tree on it. This one does not. A little bit more aggressive point on the Jackson headstocks than the Ibanez, but I mean, they have to look different. You have to know that this is a Jackson, that's an Ibanez. I mean, I think they're both really sweet headstocks. I love Jackson headstocks myself. So they both have, you know, the same as bridge pickup, single middle coil, but this has the single neck. The S series that I have has a humbucker on it. Again, 1 volume, 1 tone, 5-way switch. My S series has some mods on it, so can't really compare it to the electronics. On the back end, the S series and the Jackson are very similar. They have pretty big cavities to work with back here, and they both have their output jacks right here, which I think is really sweet because they both have that cool outer edge. This is, to me, like, you know, the Jackson version of the S series in its own way. It's kind of a mix between probably a few different guitars out there, but I'd say it's most similar to the Ibanez S series. If I had to choose between one or the other, it's a kind of a biased answer a little bit. I could play both of these guitars. I'm just so used to the Ibanez S series. I actually think this guitar, being a Japanese-made one, is actually a little bit better. The tremolo on this is a lot better. I find this guitar just has maybe somewhat better feel to it than that one. That one was made in Korea, and it's a little bit lower end maybe than this one was, but I don't know. I think maybe a little bit sound-wise, or just the feel-wise, this Jackson wins it. That they're both super solid when it comes to tuning stability, and I can get sounds and play out of that like it's nothing anyway. They both have crappy nickel frets on them, so I mean, it's overall like you just have to play them and figure out what you like in that sense. But in the overall, you know what? Maybe just play them and make your own decisions in that case. This is just a really quick video just to talk about those guitars and whatnot. If you guys like Jackson or Ibanez, write down in the comments what one you like more. I know there's going to be a lot of Jackson fanboys and a lot of Ibanez fanboys out there. You can tell me if you like both of them, none of them, whatever you want. You can just pop by and say hello. Anyway, guys, click the subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell, and all that kind of fun stuff. And I'll say thanks to Kevin again for letting me borrow his guitar for a little while. I'm sure he's going to love it when he gets it. So, you know what? You guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. See yas. And make sure you follow me on Instagram, BauerYT.